For years, the house at the end of Willow Street stood untouched. Shutters always drawn. Garden unkempt. Windows clouded with dust. Children made up stories about the place. Adults whispered in shops. But no one dared knock, not since old Mrs. Eloise moved in, and never left. And yet, every evening at precisely 6:47 p.m., a dim light flickered in the attic window, always the attic, and never the front door. No mail was sent. No visitors came. Until the one night, the window opened. Eloise Barker wasn't always a ghost to the world. In fact, in 1965, she was one of the most promising artists in the city. Her charcoal portraits were said to carry the weight of emotion itself. But one tragic winter day, she lost her husband, a pianist, in a train derailment, on the very night of his Carnegie debut. He was 29. She was 27. And the world became too loud to bear. She moved to the sleepy town of Pine Hollow and purchased the old cottage at the end of Willow Street. She brought only what she could carry: a suitcase, a box of ash-stained sketches, and a sealed envelope she never opened. She never spoke of her past. She never painted again. In 2018, a boy named Callum moved in next door. His mother, a nurse. His father, a face on a prison visiting list. Callum was quiet, observant, and often found wandering the woods or sketching faces in his notebook. He noticed the attic light too. "Why does it turn on at the same time every day?" he asked his mother. "It's just an old woman's habit," she replied. "Don't bother her. People say she hasn't spoken to anyone in years." But Callum wasn't like most people. He knew what silence felt like. And somehow, he believed Mrs. Eloise wasn't alone in hers. So, he began to leave sketches on her porch, portraits of birds, cats, forgotten faces. No name. No words. 3 weeks later, he found one of his drawings, gently colored in with delicate, aging hands. Watercolors, soft and vibrant. The next day, the attic light stayed on longer. In September, a heavy storm swept through Pine Hollow. Trees buckled. Power lines cracked. Most of the street went dark, except the attic of the silent house, where the flickering light burned like a candle refusing to die. Callum, panicked, ran through the rain. He banged on her door. No answer. He circled to the back, climbing the garden fence, slipping on wet grass. And there, for the first time in over 5 decades, he saw it. The attic window was wide open. Inside, the house was coated in silence and shadows. Callum climbed the narrow stairs to the attic, heart racing. What he found there wasn't terrifying. It was beautiful. Hundreds of portraits lined the walls. All of them sketched in charcoal. All of them of one man. Same face, different expressions. His eyes laughing, crying, singing, empty. Mrs. Eloise was sitting by the window, frail, holding a yellowed envelope in her lap. She looked up at Callum, smiled, and said 4 words the town hadn't heard in decades. "You finally found me." Then she opened the envelope. Inside was a letter from her husband, written on the train he never arrived from. It read, "If you're reading this, I didn't make it. But if I know you, you'll blame yourself. Don't close the window. Don't hide your art. Let people see you again. Love is not buried with the body. It lives in what we leave behind." She handed Callum the letter, then looked at her late husband's portrait one last time. Mrs. Eloise passed away peacefully 2 nights later. At her request, written in a note addressed to the boy with the sketches, Callum hosted an art exhibition in her attic. Word spread. The town came. They cried. They whispered apologies they never had the courage to say in her lifetime. The attic stayed open for years, lit by soft candlelight every evening at 6:47 p.m. Callum grew up to be an artist. But he never forgot her. He kept one portrait for himself, Eloise's final sketch, of a boy standing in the rain, holding out a drawing to a closed door. Only now, the door was open. Not all silence is emptiness. Sometimes it's pain. Sometimes it's memory. And sometimes, it's art waiting to be shared. Mrs. Eloise taught us that healing doesn't always come with noise. It comes in color, in charcoal, in letters never sent, but finally read. This was her story. And now, it's ours to carry. Sparkles, this is the untold side.